my God.
February 17th of 2025, a house fire in Waterbury, Connecticut. But the flames weren't the emergency. They were the escape plan.
It's 2 Blake Street.
What's the address?
Please hurry. It's 2 Blake Street. There's a fire.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Blake
There's
Street?
a fire. I'm trying to...
Ma'am, what's
2
on
Blake
fire?
Street. The TV, I don't know. My son, stepson, is in his room, and I don't know. He did something with the TV. I was sleeping. I fell asleep.
See flames or smoke?
Yes. Yes, we need an ambulance, please.
Okay.
Please, we need an ambulance.
Ma'am, all right, you said something's on fire and now you need an ambulance. What's going on there?
Yes, his room. The TV in his room.
Did he get injured? Is he on fire?
Yes, he's injured. Please send the ambulance.
Ma'am, I'm going to send the ambulance. I need to know what's going on and why they're going out there. Where is he injured?
I don't know. He's I don't know. I don't know. He's kind of passed out. He's out of it. Please.
Okay, what's your phone number just in case we need to give you a call back?
203-206-3154. Please.
Okay, is the fire out, ma'am?
No, it's not. Please. I'm trying to.
I understand, ma'am. I'm trying to get information on what's going on there.
Oh, my God. It's like all the power in the house is out. I don't know if it blew a fuse.
Okay, ma'am. Just get out of the house, okay?
Yes, I'm going to call my daughter.
All right.
Oh, my God.
I'm completely on the way.
I disagree. Move it.
Probably one. I'm moving for you.
So we in your car for now, and then once the rest of the FD gets here, we get block. The bottom of the hill, and then highway. Yeah, dude. I think he's not gonna be able to get. You're good, dude. Relax. What is it? Huh? Okay. Let me just see what we got here. He's on the ground right here. He's on the ground. Okay.
Kimberly Sullivan called 911 that night to report the fire, but what police discovered inside wasn't just a structure fire. It was a secret, burning to the surface.
Everybody's out or not?
No, I have no idea. We just got here when they got here.
All right, get out of the way. Guys, get out of the way for them. So we got to get a unit to that side.
Yeah, so why don't you bring your car over on that side?
Just go all the way around. You're not going to be able to get through here. Come over here. Go down the road. Come on. Come down. Come down. Who else is in the house? Who else is in here?
My stepson is in here.
How many other people? Listen,
That's it. I have 2 cats.
Everybody's out?
Yes.
But your stepson's still inside?
Yeah, he's right here.
Okay,
yes,
come out. Come down the road. Come on. Come on. It's not safe to stay here. Come on.
All right, here he is. All right, my dog is shaking.
I know. Come down here. That's 287.23 victim. Fire victim.
Okay.
Come on.
My dog is,
right
I know, my dog.
I know. Come on.
I'm coming.
You've seen it.
A man, barely alive, extremely emaciated, weighing just 70 to 80 pounds, standing between 5'8" and 5'10". He could barely speak, but what he said chilled officers to the core.
One victim right here. I need to stay over here.
You got him?
He said he had been locked in that room since he was 11 years old for 20 years. And tonight he set the fire, not to destroy, but to escape.
Her son's in the back, semi-responsive. Make sure you get her in the car to stay warm. Nobody else is in the house, right?
Her family's over there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Where's Matt? What up? She just said 2 cats inside. Everybody else is out. There's only 1 victim. What's
happened?
So there was just 1 victim that they just put in the back here.
Yep.
The woman said there's 2 cats inside, nobody else.
Very
so it's
good.
just 2 people. He's loaded in the back now. Whoever your truck 1 guy was, maybe grab.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, we're going to block off the road just south of Lake Street at Sunnyside. Unit up on Highland Ave. You can block off anybody in there unless it's emergency personnel.
Us still going to need a unit to stand by this fire victim. Probably going to Waterbury if it's AMR. Mess to it in units. Make sure we have the road blocked off, but allow fire personnel to come in. So Highland should be blocked at Sunnyside, bottom of Sunnyside, Chambers, and then the other side of Blake Street, correct?
Bravo 1, I got it blocked off at Chambers.
No, there's someone around.
Oh yeah, someone's over there, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Take for it. Let's go immediately.
Looks like he woke up. Oh. It's really cold.
Oh, it's fucking retarded.
What's on my island on Sunnyside?
Are you off? them up anyone.
Can I get my purse with my keys so I put my dog in the car? It's, oh my God,
Inside?
it's in this room.
You can't go back inside. You cannot go back inside. Here, come. You cannot go back inside right now. The house is on fire. You're not going back in.
Okay,
All right?
we're
gonna move
you. Can she come down here? Can I go?
Who's? Oh, your daughter's the one in that car?
Yes.
She's gonna be over there for you. Okay? I told her to go to the park because we have to get everybody in.
How am I going?
You're gonna walk. We'll walk with you. Okay? Don't worry. I just told her to go to the park and wait for you. Okay? What? Go ahead. Which apartment is yours?
Son's in the back, semi-responsive. Make sure we get her in the car to see her.
Yeah,
Nobody else is in the house, right?
Her family's over there.
My two cats.
Okay.
Okay. Her family's over there, so I told her to go over there with her.
You have any idea what happened?
He said something about.
Some soot.
We have ID on him?
I do.
Thank you. Which one? There's a fire! Yeah, get out! You gotta get out! It's not safe. You have to get out.
Since he was 11, he's 30. Says he hasn't had a shower in over a year. There's dirt all over him. Am I going here? What's the deal?
Yeah, I guess so. And I guess Martin is following you down.
All right, tell him to meet me.
Okay. I'll tell Martin.
All right, we're gonna go.
I'll text you. You want me to hang by stepmom for right now, or what?
What?
You want me to hang by stepmom for right now, or?
Yeah, get her.
I'm trying to find out where the hell she is. Because I just got
She's
here.
waiting in a car down there.
Okay.
Get her.
All of her info and everything.
We already got all of her info. I just don't want her to fucking go anywhere. We don't have enough to really detain her. Well, another night. Get cold. Cold. Is there a number on the front of this fucking place? I'm looking at it.
Was it? Two. Yeah.
I bet he might still play this shit.
Neither do I. Alright, single family house with just this guy in the back of the ambulance and the aunt, right? Whoever she is, or that mother.
Stepmother.
Stepmother.
So she's out front with the dog. Calling him on the phone like, you have to get out, you have to get out. So she's standing right on the front. I'm trying to get her attention. I'm
Where's she
saying
now?
she's allegedly in a fucking car
How
down
does she-
there
how does
parked.
she-
And she's
Nobody
already
goes-
got all of her info.
What car is she in? What type of car? Black Acura sedan, okay. And her name is Kimberly?
Yeah, that's fine. They want me to find her and stand by her for right now. Okay. Where's that black Acura?
What black guy?
That chick. Do you
Oh, it's like, the person that was in the front where she was living in the first floor,
yeah.
they took off somewhere safe. I got their number if you want.
Did they say where they were going?
No.
Okay. Alright. They already took off. They already left. Yeah. Did you get a plate on that car?
Huh?
You got a plate on that car on the rear door? I'm asking Martin right now. Somebody's coming to relieve you, and then you're going to the hospital with Inzatari because he rode down the ambulance. All right. That'd be it. See if that comes back to a black Acura. 74725. Bravo Hotel 74725. Alright, do you have my number? Yeah. You want to just text me if you find it? No, it's not going to bother me. If you find it, you want to just text it to me? Yeah. Thanks. Alright, let me call Bradley. I'll call you back and say just missed this call. That Acura already took off. There was a black Acura. They already took off. See, Martin, I see if you can get a plate on that Acura now. Yeah.
Department, Sunnyside plate for being installed. Roads covered in water and smell ice.
Benoit already go back to his car? Huh? Did Benoit already go back to his car?
I don't even know what you're saying.
Benoit, did you go back to his car?
Yeah, we were making 3,000 phone calls because of that.
Yeah.
You got the stepmother?
No, she already took off by the time I got down there. So I said it was a black Acura. Martin, I was working on seeing if we can get a plate right now. I don't know what the hell it was.
They're pulling everybody out right now. Who are you? That's your wife?
No, my wife's in the car. That's the mother-in-law.
Oh, that's your mom? Yeah, okay. All right. Listen, we got to get you guys off the road. Go to the other side over there. Yeah, because we're going to have trucks coming down, so you got to move. Okay? So when you get there, you need to stay as far as you can, and we'll bring her over when we're done. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Hello, are you Kimberly? Hi, I'm Detective Pesh. I investigate all the fires that happen in the city, so I just wanted to get an idea of what you know or what happened. When did he say that?
He said he woke up and the TV was in flames.
Okay. Where was he when he said that to you?
Coming out of his room.
He was coming out of his room?
Yeah. I guess he fell asleep, and I guess he, I don't know, smelled the smoke.
So take me right to the beginning of when you know there's a fire or there's smoke.
I smelled it.
Okay, where were you?
It's bad.
In bed? Where's your bed?
In bed,
Downstairs,
right
upstairs? Upstairs, okay.
Yeah.
You smelled it, so then what happened then?
Then I guess he was sleeping. He passed out.
Okay. But what did you do though, specifically?
I was screaming for him. I was screaming it, for him, and I was trying to go into the room, but it was just there were just flames. So he came out of the room. He actually woke up. He came out of the room.
So when you saw him at first, he was sleeping?
No, he was talking.
Okay.
But he said that he couldn't come out of the room because there were flames.
Okay.
And I was standing like back because I could see them, and I said, just come out.
And he couldn't get out because of the flames?
Right. I said, just come out.
Okay.
Just come out, you know.
Did he run through him?
I guess he did, yeah.
Okay.
I guess he did.
Was the door locked on his room or no?
No.
Okay. Is it normally locked?
No.
Okay, it's normally open?
No, yeah.
And he has free reign to go out of there whenever he wants?
Yeah.
Okay. Does he have any mental challenges or anything? What is he?
I think he started the fire.
Well, we don't know yet, but that's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking if there's a history of. Okay. So no, nothing like that in the past.
No.
Okay. So other than you, were you sleeping? You said in your bed.
Yeah.
Okay. You smell smoke, right? You get up, you go to his room, right? And you're
screaming.
Screaming, yeah.
He must have been sleeping and just, I don't know, just
Okay.
didn't realize until it was actually happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And you're telling him to get out of the room, because
Yes,
there's flames there.
He was scared because of the.
Yeah, and I get that.
And I said, just go through them, whatever. Just come out of the room.
Yeah. And where do you go at that point?
We both went downstairs.
So he was able to get out with you at that time.
Yeah, we
Okay.
went downstairs,
Okay.
And I was trying to hit 911, and I was just so shaken. It took me a second.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. I get that. All right. You're gonna be here for a little while.
Well, I was going to go to the hospital.
Okay. Is somebody with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's with you?
My daughter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Husband.
Oh, okay. Do they live at the house too? It's just you and your son? Okay. And you're gonna go to the hospital? Okay.
That's where my other daughter is.
Oh, that's where she is?
She's there too.
All right, I'm fine with that. He's at St. Mary's, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where you're gonna go now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If I need to talk to you later, you don't have a problem talking with me, right? Okay. Thank you.
Let's take a look at the incident report. On February 17th of 2025 at approximately 20:42 hours, UFC Martinez and I were dispatched to 2 Blake Street for a report of a possible structure fire with injuries. Dispatch advised the reporting party, identified as Kimberly Sullivan, date of birth, March 22nd, 1968. She called reporting her home was on fire and her stepson, identified as redacted, obviously he is a victim, he was possibly still inside the residence. Upon arrival, Waterbury Fire Department was on scene. I observed a confirmed structure fire at 2 Blake Street from what appeared to be on the 2nd floor. The Waterbury Fire Department was able to make entry and successfully located the victim, whose name is redacted. The fire department then immediately transferred him to the AMR ambulance, who began immediate MERG care. Kimberly advised she was uninjured. In fact, as you saw in the body cam video, she was holding her dog, and she seemed like she was more concerned about her dog having anxiety than a living human being who was her stepson trapped in a room. At that time, I spoke with Kimberly, who advised her stepson was still inside. I advised Kimberly that he was taken out of the residence by the fire department personnel. Kimberly was then removed from the scene. I then went to the ambulance to check on his condition. He was alert, conscious, and speaking to medical personnel. It was at that time that the AMR paramedic advised he wanted to speak with me regarding this incident. This time I sat next to him, who stated he lit the fire. He then advised he used hand sanitizer and a piece of paper to light the fire so he could kill himself. He then advised his stepmother, Kimberly, had kept him locked in his room since he was 11 years old. He stated he attempted to kill himself because he wanted freedom. He also advised he had not showered in about a year. It should be noted, he appeared to be extremely emaciated. His ribs could be seen along with his spine. He was also covered in what appeared to be dirt. This time, he was transported to St. Mary's Hospital for treatment. While at St. Mary's Hospital, his condition declined and he currently is in critical condition. While on scene, officers spoke to Kimberly, who advised he was slow but did not have any diagnosed medical disorders. UFD was able to contain the fire, which was eventually successfully extinguished. Due to the victim stating he set the fire, Detective Pesky was notified of the incident and responded to the scene. Based on his attempted suicide, a police request for emergency examination form was completed. The fire marshal was also notified and responded to the scene to conduct his investigation. All parties involved were advised that this report would be on file and forwarded to the Detective Bureau. Now we're going to look at the arrest warrant application, which should give us more details as to the charges that she was charged with. Detective Stephen Brownell is a regular member of the Waterbury Police Department. Having over 20 years of police training and experience, the affiant is currently assigned to the Criminal Investigation Bureau and has conducted investigations resulting in both the arrest and conviction of those persons involved. The following facts and circumstances are stated from personal knowledge and observations, as well as information received from other police officers acting in their official capacity and from official police reports and statements by prudent and credible witnesses. In following affidavit, there is a victim of domestic violence whose identity will be omitted. The victim shall be referred to as male victim 1. Along with his identity, his address and the location where he is being treated shall be omitted as well. That on February 17, 2025, at approximately 20:42 hours, the Waterbury Police Department receives a complaint for an active fire. Filed by Kimberly Sullivan, date of birth, March 22, 1968. Officers Martinez and Inzatari were dispatched to the scene, as well as the Waterbury Fire Department. Upon arrival, Waterbury Fire Department was already on scene and began working on the active structure fire. Officer Inzatari observed the fire department made entry into the residence and removed a party, later identified as male victim number 1, who was immediately brought to AMR ambulance for medical treatment. Officer Inzatari reported that Kimberly Sullivan was standing outside and was uninjured. The fire department worked the fire and were able to extinguish the fire, which appeared to be mostly contained to the second floor. Multiple rooms on the second floor had heavy fire, smoke, and water damage from the incident. Other areas of the house sustained smoke and water damage from the incident. That Officer Inzatari checked on male victim 1 in the ambulance where he was being treated for smoke inhalation. Upon viewing the male victim number 1, Officer Inzatari observed that he was extremely emaciated. His hair was matted and unkempt, he was very dirty, and his teeth appeared to be rotten. Male victim 1 was conscious and alert, although he was having difficulty speaking due to the smoke inhalation. Male victim 1 reported to Officer Inzatari that he intentionally started the fire in his room on the second floor using a lighter, hand sanitizer, in a piece of paper because he wanted his freedom. He stated that he had been locked in that house his entire life. Male victim 1 stated that he's been held captive at the residence since he was approximately 11 years old. I know that's redacted, but I do know that information. He had been locked up since he was 11 years old. Male victim 1 specifically mentioned that Kimberly Sullivan keeps him locked into his bedroom as there is a lock on the outside of his bedroom door. Male victim 1 was transported to St. Mary's Hospital for treatment before being transferred to the facility identity name has been redacted as his condition worsened and he was listed as being in critical condition due to the smoke inhalation. Detective Hensky was contacted to respond to the fire scene as he is a police fire investigator for the city. Upon arrival, Detective Hensky was updated by on-scene officers of male victim 1's condition related to the fire in his general appearance. Detective Hensky then introduced himself and spoke briefly with Kimberly Sullivan, who was on scene in a vehicle with a daughter and the daughter's boyfriend. Sullivan reported to Detective Hensky that she didn't know what happened and that she woke up to the smoke and went to male victim 1's room. Sullivan stated she went to male victim 1's room and saw a large amount of fire at his doorway. Sullivan stated that he was saying something about a TV and that she was screaming at him to get out of the room. Sullivan stated that she guessed he ran through the fire because he did end up outside the room. Detective Hensky asked if male victim 1 was diagnosed with any medical condition, and Kimberly stated that he has a lot of problems but isn't diagnosed with any conditions, as male victim 1 was against using doctors. Sullivan stated that she has brought male victim 1 to a psychiatrist a few times, and he's mentioned hurting himself in the past. Detective Hensky asked Sullivan if male victim 1 was locked inside his room, as she stated that his door is not locked and that he has free reign of the house. While the WF were still actively on scene dealing with the fire scene, WFD Inspector Sevilla and Detective Hensky did a cursory walkthrough, address omitted in Waterbury, to ascertain the origin and cause of the fire. WFD Inspector Sevilla located a burn pattern on the floor of a second-floor bedroom, consistent with the fire being set to that location, as there were various burnt-up papers and burnt debris. This location is consistent with the room that was ascribed to be male victim 1's room in the second floor. While fighting the fire, members of the fire department had moved items around the second floor bedroom and removed the door to the room. Hensky observed that there was a slide lock on the outside of the door frame, which could be used to secure a door closed from outside the room. Furthermore, the removed door from the room has a latch that appeared to match up with the location of the slide lock. During the early part of his investigation, Detective Hensky reached out to Kimberly Sullivan in an effort to further interview her in relation to the fire in male victim 1. Kimberly refused to meet with Detective Hensky and stated that she has spoken with an attorney and will not be speaking to the police. That once male victim 1 had recovered to a point where he could speak with investigators, 2 interviews were conducted by detectives. The first was on February 21st, 2025 by Detective Hensky, and the second was conducted by Detective Brownell on March 6, 2025. Both interviews were conducted at the medical facility that male victim 1 is recovering. Each interview was audio and video recorded utilizing Waterbury Police Department's body-worn camera. In the 3 hours that male victim 1 was interviewed, he provided details of the evolution of his life over the past 20 years that amounted to a life of captivity, abuse, and starvation. Male victim 1 was asked what his earliest memories were of being locked in his bedroom and stated that his earliest memories start around the age of 11. The family was living at the time, and he recalled being hungry, which led him to sneak out of his room at night to get food and fluids to drink. He stated that when the wrappings to the food he ate were eventually discovered, he began to be locked in his room. He stated that at that time, it was only during the evening hours. He recalled drinking water from the toilet at the time due to the fact he was only getting about 2 cups of water per day. Male victim 1 then recalled how the family had moved to the new address where he was ultimately found with the fire. The address has been omitted. We can see that. Male victim 1 stated that when he was in the home, he was permanently pulled out of school due to the fact the school he was attending contacted the Department of Children and Family Services based on what he was doing in school. Male victim 1 stated that by the time in his life, he was always hungry, so when he was at school, he would ask others for their food, steal others' food, and sometimes eat food out of the garbage. This resulted in DCF responding to the home on 2 occasions. When they were there, he was told by Sullivan to tell them that everything was fine. After the second DCF visit, he was pulled from school by Sullivan. Male victim 1 stated that he was provided worksheets for a short period of time, but the skill level never advanced and no one was teaching him anything. Male victim 1 stated that he always had a lock on his outside of his door. It evolved from a chain lock to a padlock and eventually a slide bolt lock. Not only did he demonstrate to Detective Penske how it operated, but the lock was also observed from photos obtained from search and seizure warrants executed at the residence. Male victim 1 added that when he first moved to this address, he was in the actual bedroom, locked in, but was then moved to a smaller room. This area was observed during the execution of the search warrant and can be described as a back storage space on the second floor of the residence. Male victim 1 stated he was only there for a short period of time, eventually being moved to a smaller room. This is where he had been since the age of 11. This space that male victim 1 was locked in was a back storage space that measured approximately 8 feet by 9 feet. The space also had angled ceilings, making the space that much smaller. Speaking with, the doctor's name has been redacted, she stated that male victim 1 stated during conversation that the space had no heat in the winter and no air conditioning in the summer. Male victim 1 stated that once he was pulled from school, his weekday routine in captivity became brutally consistent for the rest of his life. Male victim 1 stated that he would typically go to sleep around 7:30 p.m. depending on what season it was. He stated that he would wake up around 3 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. and would be awake for the rest of the whole day and night, noting that he did not sleep well. He was let out of his room for a limited time in the morning around 8 a.m. He stated that he was tasked to complete several chores in the house, which may take him between 15 minutes to 2 hours, depending on what he had to do. From there, typically late in the morning, he was brought back to his room where he was locked there for the remainder of the day and through the overnight hours until it was time to get out and do chores again the following day. When asked how often this routine was, he stated nearly every day. Male victim 1 stated that on occasion he was let out in the early evening hours, briefly. He also stated that there were times when he would be locked in his room for a whole day at a time, equating to 24 straight hours. Male victim 1 added that on the weekends, he would be let out of his room for longer periods of time. By redacted, male victim 1 stated that while Sullivan took him to events and to see friends, he would allow him to come out and watch television with him. Male victim 1 also stated that there were also times when he would let him go outside with him to work in the yard. Again, speaking of his father. He also stated that the last time he left the property was when he was approximately redacted years old. I don't know what the age is, stating that he went with his dad to the dump yard waste. When discussing him dying, he stated that his captivity and restraint got even worse. So basically, after his dad died, this crazy woman decided to be even worse and mean to him. Male victim 1 stated that it got to a point where the only time he would ever be out of the house once he died was to let the family dog out in the back of the yard, stating that was only about 1 minute a day. Essentially, male victim 1 was locked in his room between 22 to 24 hours a day. He stated that he was provided up to 2 sandwiches a day. They were typically deli meats, peanut butter, and occasionally tuna or egg salad. He described his food becoming less and less over time. When asked if he was hungry every day, he stated, all day, every day, my entire life. Along with the limited food supply, he stated he had equivalent of about 2 small bottles of water a day. He pointed to the water bottles that were on the table during the interview. When the detectives asked male victim 1 why he never spoke with anyone about his experience, he stated that he wanted to, but there was the constant threat of longer lockdowns and further diminishment of food. He described a life of being mentally conditioned by Sullivan. He stated that the threat was that he would not see the light of day if he told anyone, and knowing that he had little time out of his room to that point, it was not something he could risk. He also stated that he once discovered a gun while cleaning. This added to his fears of being hurt. It was unclear when in his life he discovered the gun. He discussed how much of a normal day consisted of him counting cars as he looked out the window. He stated that he thought of breaking the window, later learning that there was a storm window that could be removed. But he stated that under pain of death, no one was to see me. This is what Sullivan would say to him. He stated that throughout the years, Sullivan would constantly lead him to believe that she was going to start to unlock his door and let him out more, but that she needed to see if she could trust him. He stated that the room being unlocked never happened. He described the evolution of his bathroom use. When he was a child, he was also being locked in the room during the overnight hours. A training potty chair was left in his room to use. Once he reached redacted and then into his redacted, I'm assuming he says once he reached teenage years and then into his adulthood, but I don't know, I'm guessing. He was forced to use bottles and newspapers to dispose of his waste. He described how often he urinated into the bottle. He would have to then funnel it into a tube he created with a series of straws and then guide those straws through a hole in the window to empty it. He continued by describing how he defecated. He stated that he placed newspapers on the ground and squatted over it to relieve himself. He would then roll the paper up, tie it with string he unraveled from old t-shirts, and eventually bring it to the kitchen garbage when he was left out to do chores. Knowing that when he was tending to the ambulance after the fire, the officer and EMT recognized that not only was he emaciated, but there was clearly an issue with his hygiene. He remembered telling the officer that he had not bathed in a year or two. When asked about his bathing habits, he stated that when he was still in school, he would get bathed every other night. But once pulled from school, he stated that bathing would become less and less and less, which ultimately led to him having to attempt to clean himself in his room. He explained that along with the bottle of water he had filled each day for his fluids, he kept one other bottle in his room. He stated that each day he would save a portion of his drinking water into this other bottle. Once that bottle was full, he stated that he would do what he could with the amount of water to bathe himself, adding that he was not provided any kind of soap. He only had some men's cologne in his room. And when it came to haircuts, he stated that Sullivan would cut his hair. BWC footage shows him with long, thick, matted hair. He stated that up to that point, he had not had a haircut in 3 years. Besides the occasional television viewing with his dad on the weekends, he stated that there was no other television viewing. He did not have one in his room. He recalled the time where he briefly 3 months, 15 years ago, had a small black and white television, but it became unusable due to the advancements in technology. He stated that his only real connection to the outside world was a radio that was kept outside of his bedroom. He described listening to local radio stations such as WZBG, WATR, and WMPR. Among these 3 stations, he was able to stay semi-current with world issues. He was able to learn about and follow NASCAR and Yukon basketball. Along with a calendar, he stated that he utilized the radio to keep track of time. Between these 2 resources, he was able to keep track of time and the years. Speaking with Male Victim 1 and knowing that his former education concluded in redacted, he was able to understand everything we spoke about. Each year, he stated that he was provided approximately 3 to 4 books. He stated that he also had a dictionary. He stated that he would read the books, and each word he came across that he did not know, he would look up in the dictionary. It was determined that he had ultimately educated himself. He discussed how he was never allowed to have friends, noting that the only time he was ever allowed to have fun was Halloween. He remembered the last time he was allowed to go trick-or-treating on Halloween was when he was redacted, recalling his last costume being a firefighter. He stated that redacted were allowed to have friends. His stepsisters were allowed to have friends, but the friends were not allowed over the house, stating he was their secret, stating, "I have been kept secret my entire life." Regarding other potential visitors to the house, he stated that there was hardly anyone who came to the house, and if someone did come, he was told not to make a sound. Again, the threat of food diminished and longer lockdowns always being a threat if he did not comply. He added that along with Sullivan and his father, knowing of his situation, his blank and his blank knew as well. I assume he's talking about his stepsister, but I'm not really sure who else knew. none of which participated in locking him in the room. They were just aware. When asked about sexual abuse or physical abuse, he stated that there was no sexual abuse and he recalled only one instance when he was abused physically. He stated that around 2005, being home alone, he cut out a piece of wood paneling out of the door that he was locked behind. He stated that he was able to sneak out and make his own way to the rest of the house where he found food and ate it. When Sullivan discovered he had made his way out of the room, she went up to him and slapped him in the face. From that point on, not only was his door locked, but plywood was secured on both sides of the door so he could not get through the door again. This door was observed in the residence when the search warrants were executed, and there was, in fact, plywood on each side of the door during one of the interviews. He was shown 2 photos of the residence and he confirmed which room was his and confirmed that was the door that secured him in the room. When asked about medical care, he stated that he had not been to a doctor since he was redacted. He stated that the only medicine he was ever provided was aspirin. He added that he had never been to a dentist, along with seeing his body being absolutely emaciated. It was clear that he had severe tooth decay and no dental treatment to his mouth. He stated that when he ate, pieces of his teeth would break off. He was asked about the day he set the fire. He described it as being a normal day, doing chores in the morning, but this day he was allowed out to clean off Sullivan's vehicle. Like every other day, he was given his 2 sandwiches and a snack and sent back to his room where he was locked until 7 p.m. that night. He stated that he was let out to try and replace a bulb on a small Christmas tree that was on the breakfast bar. When he could not complete the task, he was sent back to his room and locked in. About 8 p.m., he hears Sullivan's bedroom door close and he thought, same old, same old. He added that he doesn't remember what time, but did remember making the choice to set the fire, noting that there wasn't a plan to do so earlier in the day. He stated that he also knew that when he set the fire, he would have to let it go to a point where Sullivan would not be able to put it out and that the fire department would have to come. He stated that he set the fire using hand sanitizer, printer paper, and a flame from a lighter. He stated that he got the lighter about a year earlier after his dad died. He was allowed some of his father's clothing, and there happened to be a lighter in an old jacket pocket. When asked how he knew that the hand sanitized was flammable, he stated, I read. He stated that he started the fire on the floor by his door and a stack of games. He added that once the fire got going, he started to stomp and yell for help. He stated that Sullivan yelled to him asking what he wanted, and he told her, fire! When she opened the door, she asked what he did, and he told her that the radio had malfunctioned. He stated that at this point, he was out of it and had collapsed at the top of the stairs. He stated that Sullivan made him get up and go to the downstairs bathroom and wash his face, stating that she did not want the fire department to know about his appearance. He remembers that when the fire department arrived, redacted had arrived as well. He stated that he knew this because he could hear Sullivan yelling at them to get a screwdriver to get the locks off the door. He concluded by stating that he fell to the ground again with Sullivan yelling at him to get up. He stated that he stayed on the ground and he purposely didn't get up so the fire department would be forced to get him. He believed this was the only way out of this situation. On February 28th, 2025, a search and seizure warrant pertaining to all medical records for male victim 1 at medical facility omitted was applied for and granted. That same day, Detective Brownell, Detective Shea, and Lieutenant Torres responded to the medical facility to execute said warrant. All requested records were provided. The following is a chronological record of the staff's medical notes as they cared for him from his admittance on February 18, 2025 through the execution of a search warrant on February 28, 2025. Records show that male victim 1 was admitted on February 18th at 02:51 hours. Due to the threat of respiratory failure, he was intubated. It was documented that the medical facility showed no medical records on file. This means that any medical facility that shared the same system as this one showed no history for him. An early exam of bail victim 1 described him as cachectic and appears to be younger than his stated age. Cachectic or Cachexia is also referred to as wasting syndrome. It has to do with significant unplanned weight loss and the deterioration of muscle mass. This condition is seen in individuals who are suffering from chronic diseases such as heart disease and advanced cancer. He was described as being very near starvation. Continuing with early reports and observations from medical staff, it is documented in February 18, 2025, that he is severely malnourished with a body mass of 11. That is a extremely low BMI. Speaking with medical staff for male victim 1 is about half of what it should be. It was also explained that anything under 16 is considered starvation and anything under 13 is life-threatening. It's also noted in this report that refeeding syndrome needs to be avoided. Medical staff at the facility stated that refeeding syndrome is a life-threatening condition brought upon by severe malnutrition whereby introducing of food and liquids can have fatal consequences due to the fact the body cannot process the intake. His body was not equipped to handle or break down of nutrients. This can have a domino effect of electrolyte imbalance, which will lead to heart abnormalities, which will lead to heart failure. Records show that once extubated, he begins to speak with staff and is immediately provided them with information about his situation, stating that he has been abused at home and not allowed to leave for several years. Staff noted their concern of a hostage situation. As the medical reports continue, it notes that he is extremely thin and weighs approximately 68.7 pounds and is 5 foot 9 inches tall. He continues to speak with staff about his situation, which was consistent with what he had initially stated to officers. He stated that he set the fire because he states, "I wanted my freedom." He stated that he had been locked in his room since he was 11 years old. Staff notes that at this point, he is fully oriented, his thoughts are clear, and he is absent of suicidal ideations. As staff continues to speak with him, he talks with a contradicted effect about what he missed out over the past years. It's documented that over the past months his mood was angry, he was always hungry, and that he has been tossed and turned into sleep for the past few years. Here he opens up about his life, stating that he was pulled from school and redacted because redacted were tired of DCF being called on the family because he was always hungry. He explained that he was always asking other students for their food, taking other students' food, and eating out of the garbage. When asked, he stated that he doesn't know basic technology and describes spending his days reading and watching cars pass by his window. Note that at the end of the Detective Pesky's interview, Detective Pesky attempted to help him work an iPad, and it was clear that he had no concept of how it worked. Evaluations of male victim 1 noted that he had decreased ability to use his arms for pushing and pulling, decreased ability to use legs for bridging and pushing, and an impaired ability to control his trunk for mobility. His muscle tone was abnormal with decreased flexibility and strength. He had decreased endurance and activity tolerance and impaired balance with impaired motor function. He has bilateral knee contractures. He has bilateral knee contractures, a condition where the knee joints become stiff and cannot extend, severe muscle wasting, and severe subcutaneous fat loss is noted in the clavicle and temple. During an assessment for mental health, he tested positive for PTSD and depression. During these assessments, he noted that he was forced to urinate in plastic bottles that he would empty by dumping out his window, and when he defecated, he would do so on his floor using newspaper. When asked, he could not remember the last time he showered. He's noted as being developmentally delayed at the time of an adolescent cognitive level. When provided a task to complete, he demonstrated difficulty with problem-solving, multitasking, and sequencing. He became frequently overwhelmed and needed verbal cues to continue. He noted that he was unaware how to use a microwave. That during Detective Pesky's interview on February 21st, he photographed him in his current condition. On February 27th, he responded to the Waterbury Police Department and provided a sworn statement regarding male victim 1. He stated that he had not seen male victim 1 since 2004-2005. He remembered going to the address for Christmas Eve for a few years in a row until the family pushed him and redacted away. He remembered that male victim 1 was always skinny, meek, and mild-mannered. Kurt recalled trying to ask him questions, but Kimberly Sullivan interfered. He stated that he attempted to reach out over time, but there was no response. Concerned for his safety, he stated that about 10 years ago, he spoke with a private investigator who suggested going to vital statistics to look for death certificates in regards to male victim 1's condition. He stated that when he visited male victim 1 in the hospital after the fire, he stated, "I was shocked. He looks like a Holocaust survivor." Detectives conducted a WPD in-house database check for male victim 1, which did not reveal any police interactions within the city since April 1st, 2005 and April 18th, 2005. Additional law enforcement database inquiries for male victim 1 did not reveal any results. Records for male victim 1. An NCIC collect check of MB1 also did not reveal any records. Up to this point in the investigation, detectives have been unable to locate any recent school history past. The 2 reports on file from April 1st and April 18th of 2005 are reports to police regarding the well-being of male victim 1. The reports note that DCF had been sent to check on him and that staff at the school had been was contacting different agencies to check on him. During the course of the investigation, 2 search and seizure warrants were applied for and granted, one on February 27th and one on February 28th, the first for the arson investigation, the second for the abuse allegation. During the execution of each of these warrants, photos were taken. The Waterbury Police Forensic Division. The room where the fire had started measured approximately 9 feet by 8 feet with an angled ceiling. Photographs of the door to this room and the door jamb were taken. On the door jamb, it appeared that you could see holes from previous locks that were utilized in the past. You could also see the locks that were currently on. It was functional and clearly meant to keep someone in, not someone out of the room. You could also see that there was plywood attached to each side of the door, not only to reinforce, but to prevent any tampering of the outer locks. The door jamb and the door were taken as evidence. Based on the facts and circumstances contained herein, the affiant believes that probable cause has been established and respectfully requests that an arrest warrant be issued for Kimberly Sullivan, date of birth, March 22nd, 1968, charging her with assault in the first degree and second degree, unlawful restraint in the first degree, cruelty to a person, and reckless endangerment in the first degree. Let it be noted that each charge carries the date range of March 7th, 1996 through February 17, 2025, due to the fact that he stated that the abuse began around the age of 3 years old up until the day he set the fire. Well, they didn't redact that 3 years old, even though they redacted it. So since 3 years old, he had been held and abused in that room. She should be with some children crimes too. Cruelty to a child, abuse of a child, child abuse, child neglect, all those charges, because he was a child when this abuse started. I think they need to tack on some more charges. What do y'all think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below.
just want to say thank you. Nothing more, no play. I appreciate